Hello and welcome to Jesus for Asia Now. I'm Natalie Wood and I have a special guest with me in the studio today. Hello, Hannah.
Hi.
This is Hannah Job and she works in our office with communications, all sorts of writing.
Yeah.
So in your normal employment here at Jesus for Asia, you write stories, you edit stories?
Yeah, a little bit of graphic design, help with different projects for print and for online. It's a lot of different things.
Yeah, and I know you're also working on a book or 5. We're trying to write books, write the stories down, but it's hard to fit that in.
There's a lot. I mean, God has opened so many doors over these last couple of years especially, and there's so much we want to share, and there's just not enough time in the day to share it, but it's amazing to see all the testimonies and stories from the workers all over the mission field in Asia. It's really a blessing.
Yeah, that's a real privilege that we get here in the office is to see the stories coming back from the front line. So you need a little help though. I want to put that plug in here. If someone is interested in writing, there's definitely a need.
Yes.
For more help with that.
Absolutely.
So, okay, so let's move on to why you're here on the show today why we've got some exciting stories actually to share and some pictures and video. So, from Bangladesh.
Yes.
Why did you go to Bangladesh?
Because Sharon volunteered me.
Okay.
No, actually, I make it sound like I was dragged, but as soon as Sharon said, "Yeah, Hannah will come with me," I was like, let's go, you know?
All right.
Like, I mean, I love to travel, but not just for the fun of seeing different places, but also to be able to serve God and further His work because there's so many needs.
Yeah, and it's neat too because you go there and you meet the people face to face and you hear their story face to face. And I think it's easier to write it.
It is.
When
it really
you've met
is.
them.
Yeah, after I went to India, the stories that the Bible workers were sending in made so much more sense because I understood the culture so much better. And I understood what they were talking about because I had seen it for myself. So the same thing happened with Bangladesh, which is really cool.
Yeah. So let's start out talking about our Bible workers in Bangladesh, which we didn't have very many until you went on this trip. And that was one of the reasons you went, right?
Yes. Yeah, it was one of the reasons we went. There was a group of about 40 Bible workers that were part of a project that was run by the previous Union Mission president, but the funding for that was running out. And they wanted these workers to be able to keep up their ministries. The church in Bangladesh doesn't have a lot of funding to hire pastors and teachers. They have a college there where they train people for jobs like that, but they just don't have enough money to hire as many people as needed. So this project was supposed to help with that, and then the funding was ending, so they needed new sponsors. And so we went to go see some of the Bible workers and find out more about what that need was so that potentially we could take them on.
Okay. All right. So we have a picture.
Yeah, so this is a smaller group of some of the Bible workers that we met while we were there. We didn't get to meet all of them, but a couple dozen of them we were able to meet and do interviews with, and that was a huge blessing.
Okay, so how many total Bible workers are there initially that they were looking for?
40. There were 40 Bible workers.
And you, with Sharon, went around the country and went to different areas, but only some of them did you get to meet Bible workers in?
We got to meet Bible workers from the South and the North and the West missions. And when we were in the South mission, we were still at that point traveling with Adventist World Radio and their team. And one of the activities that they were doing was a training session for the Bible workers, not just from that project, but from all the different ministries in Bangladesh that were working in that area to teach them how to use some projectors and audio Bibles and different media resources that they were going to share with them so that they could in turn share that with other people.
Okay. Nice.
And so we got to sit in on the training, and some of the Bible workers that we were being asked to sponsor were part of that and were able to receive audio Bibles and projectors. And that was really cool. It was really a pleasure to be able to we're not working with AWR directly specifically on any projects, but to be able to work alongside another ministry like AWR was really a blessing and an eye-opening thing for me, because I feel like, and maybe it's just me, I don't know, but I feel like we kind of tend to compartmentalize. It's like this ministry does this ministry does this ministry does this. But there is so much need in countries like Bangladesh. And Bangladesh is a small country anyway. And so really to be able to work effectively in spreading the gospel to this country, we need to be able to work together and to collaborate and coordinate with each other, so that we're not...
It's my country, it's your country.
Yeah, because it's not one person's space. And when we work together and when we all have the same vision, which should be God's vision for the country, then we can do so much more. And so that was just a huge blessing for me to be able to see. And I was really glad to be able to meet the AWR team there. They were so wonderful. And it's really cool because these Bible workers, coming from a previous project, they've already been working. And so we thought we would like to share some of what they've already been doing and how they've been serving God. And so this is Bilek, and he did some ministry with his church that he was serving in. And so
myself, Bilek, and I am really grateful to work as a Bible teacher, Bible worker, and presently I am staying at Govindapur Church. Last year I was at Sonamwa SDA Church, and beside Sonamwa village there is one village which name is Koroikanda. Maybe 30 or 40 years ago there was no church, no worker, but myself and Sonamwa church members, we go there and we improve their beliefs, and we preach the Jesus Christ message, which is given by in scripture, and more than 25 souls they were baptized. And I am really thankful to be a Bible worker. I will work by my soul, and I will preach the God's message to spread out the message of God. Thank you.
So that's neat that he was able to help, teach the church members more.
And what stuck out to me was that it wasn't just him going into that village to help revitalize the church, but he involved his church members too. And I think that's really a big blessing, because sometimes people get the idea that it's up to the pastors or the leaders to do the evangelism, but it's for everyone.
Yeah,
that was really cool,
neat.
I thought.
That's neat. Okay, so now we have another video.
Yes, he is working at one of the Adventist boarding schools there in Bangladesh, and he's working as a teacher, but he also has some other parts of his job that he's going to share about.
Okay.
I am assigned to look after the students, those who comes from the southeastern part of the Bangladesh, and that area is mainly Buddhist area. And when they first come at Monosapara, the first thing that they have impression is the diversity of the faith, as they are from Buddhist background. So first time when they encounter with Christian culture and Christian worship, they ask themselves, and they have so many questions. And I have to face those students, bearing the gospel news to them. And maybe it takes 1 year or 2 years for some of the students to receive the Christian message or the message of Jesus Christ. And then gradually they confess Christian faith and convert it into Christianity. So before converting or baptizing them, we have to take permission from their guardians and from their family members. And again, another struggle starts. Some of the guardians, they deny, and some of the guardians, they permit and says to their children that it is their wish. So in such manner, from 2016 to 2021, I'm giving my time to the Buddhist students, those who comes to Monosapara for study. And this year, nearly 19 Buddhist students, they converted into Christianity, and I'm very happy to be a part of that journey. So I wish in future also I can be an active tool for the Lord, bearing the gospel, and thank you so much.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
So he's not just a teacher. He sees himself as more than a teacher. That's really neat.
Yeah. I really enjoyed getting to hear a little bit of his story.
Yeah. Okay, so the next story that we have is from another Bible worker? Okay.
Yeah, so this is an answer to prayer story.
Okay.
This worker is from the west of Bangladesh, and he's taking care of a church there.
Okay.
And so he had one young family come to him to ask for prayer because they had just had a newborn baby boy. But they noticed that the baby had this sort of hard, almost bone-like lump on his neck.
Oh.
And they didn't know what to do about it. They didn't know what it was. And so they came to him asking for prayer and advice.
Okay.
And so he told them, you really need to pray and to focus on God and trust that he can take care of your baby and that he will heal him. I would recommend that you go to the doctors, but prayer is the most important thing. And so they went to the doctor, they went to several different doctors, I believe, and nobody could really help. I don't know if they ever found out specifically what the problem was, but none of the doctors could help them. And they were so discouraged, and so they came back to this worker, and they were like, we don't know what to do. And he's like, I'm praying for you, and I will continue to pray for you. But you really need to pray and trust God that he can do a miracle for your son, because he is a powerful God. He cares for you. And they prayed, and gradually as the months went by, it got smaller and smaller and smaller until eventually it went away completely.
Wow.
And they were just so excited, and they came to him just praising God for
Wow.
how he helped them.
Amen. That's a beautiful story.
Yeah, and now they have that testimony that they can share with others, so that's really exciting.
Right. Yeah.
To hear these stories and to meet some of the Bible workers was a really huge blessing. And so Sharon and I, were really excited about the possibility of actually sponsoring them and helping their work to continue to go forward.
Right.
And so when we got back, we told you and John everything that we learned and got the go-ahead to hire the Bible workers. And
Right.
so now we've actually got more than that.
Right.
So we started with the 40 Bible workers, and then there was another lady who we also were able to hire, as well as 11 more in the east, which is an area that has the two biggest cities in Bangladesh. And so we're really excited to be able to have Bible workers in those places. And we're excited to see what God's going to do through all of these workers.
Yeah, that's really neat. What a privilege he's given us to be a part of it. And I want to make sure that our viewers know we did pray as a team a lot before hiring these Bible workers, because 40 workers at once is a large monthly commitment. So we did pray together as a team, but we just sensed the Lord asking us to keep going forward, because we don't want it to be, as Sharon shares in her show, about seeing the people and wondering how many of them won't be in heaven because nobody told them. And so we just want to enable people to tell as many as possible.
Yes, absolutely.
So now we want to talk about the first school that we had the privilege of starting in Bangladesh as Jesus for Asia.
We got started with it after our foreign correspondents from the Philippines visited Bangladesh, and they helped with the project to help drill wells. And you can see in the video some of the kids washing their hands in the water and just really having fun with it. But it really is a great help practically for all of the villagers. And so the connections that they made through that, we were able to connect with as well. And our project coordinator there, he had this burden to start a school for the kids in his village, because a lot of them come from poor families and they end up working in the fields at as early as 10 years old. And they don't have a lot of opportunity for education or nutrition. And so he wanted to do something for them. And we were able to build a little school
Okay.
and have the first Adventist school in that area. We have students currently from kindergarten through second grade.
Okay.
So we actually have 120 students, and they usually
Wow.
come every day from 1 to 5.
Okay.
And they study a lot of different subjects. They study English, they study Bangla, which is like their language arts, and learning how to read and how to write. They study math and science and music.
Okay.
Yes.
So I noticed some of the kids in this picture are a little bit on the older side that we would think for kindergarten, first and second grade.
Yes.
Is that because they haven't had access to a school before?
Yeah, they've not had a lot of opportunity, and so a lot of them are still learning how to read and write.
Okay.
And so they have to start at that foundation before they can eventually, go up and learn some more difficult subjects. Even though they say the literacy rate is 70-something%, a lot of people can't write full sentences and like stories or articles, or they can write their name and maybe a few basic things. I mean, it would be really great for people to be much higher literacy level. So,
Right.
you know,
it really
it's
opens
really-
a lot of doors.
It really does. And so we're excited to be able to help these kids be able to learn. We have some pictures of some of the kids that
Okay.
we'll just go through really quickly. They're
Oh,
the
so cute.
absolute cutest kids ever. It was so much fun getting to meet them and smile and sing with them. This is them praying. It just melts my heart every time. They're just so, it was such a blessing to me to be able to see them and to see how God is working in their lives. Because, this is a Hindu area. And while there are some Christians in the area, a lot of these kids don't really know much about Jesus. And so here they're having the opportunity to learn how to pray. They're learning Bible stories. They're learning songs. I just love how you can always see so much light in the eyes of the kids who've been introduced to Jesus. And
Okay.
it was beautiful.
Okay, well, we want to keep
So,
moving, and we
yes.
have more pictures.
Yes.
What's this one?
This is me with a group of the older girls who are studying in the school and learning. And this is us with some of the staff members at the school, some of the teachers and the cooks who help with feeding the kids, because not all of them have access to adequate nutrition at home. So they provide them a healthy meal every day. The pot of, that's just like the vegetables, but the pot of rice was like almost 3 feet high,
Yeah.
gigantic. And
Wow.
yeah, it's such a blessing to be able to help those kids get good nutrition too, so that they can grow strong physically as well as mentally.
Yeah. I love to see the kids getting food to eat. It's such a blessing, and it's such a blessing to them, and to think about what a difference it makes in their lives. I just love that.
Yeah.
So the people that are running the school there don't just see it as a school. They see it as ministry to the whole village. So what experiences did you get to have while you were there reaching out to the village?
Yeah, so when we were visiting up there, we did a prayer walk. We've actually done a couple of different virtual prayer walks in Thailand. And so we thought it would be a great idea to be able to do that in Bangladesh as well.
Nice.
But our project coordinators there, they wanted to get the villagers involved as well. And so we start out, and about 30 seconds in, they see this lady. She's trying to start a fire to warm herself up because it's about 55 degrees
That's
in
really
the
cold
early
there.
morning in the winter, which is cold for Bangladesh.
Yeah.
And so she's trying to warm herself up. And so you'll see in the next picture, our project coordinator there decided to stop and help her with her fire and to pray with her, because she's an older lady and older people have a lot of challenges there. That just started this walk of not just praying for the people and for Bangladesh, but praying with them as well. And the people online got to see, this is one of the village that we walked through, and some of the people that we saw there. You can see Sharon filming. She was the one
On the call.
and then I was kind of filming behind the scenes, and all of the villagers and the people that we saw. The villagers were happy to have us come through and pray with them. We'd never met those people before. We didn't know what kind of response we were going to get. So it was a really big blessing to pray with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And being on this side of the prayer call, it was neat also for us to see, sometimes you walk and all you see is the buildings in the city or wherever, depending where we're at, you see the scenery, but you don't see the individuals as much because they don't stop and talk to whoever's running the camera. And so that was neat for us, was to see the little lady trying to start her fire, and people would pray for her, and to see the people that were at the village, at the little market, just to see them. And it gives faces, it gives a place filled with people. And so that was neat for us on this side also.
So this is another older lady who we saw, who she was able to get her fire started, and just to be able to see what their life is like a little bit. You can see the really cute baby goats that are by there. It's a farming area, so they've got animals everywhere. It's like, at least if you go in December, it's like baby animal paradise. It's so cute. Loved seeing
Yes,
all
I
the
know you
baby
got to hold a
animals.
baby sheep, so we've got a picture of that.
Yeah, it was fun, but it's just like to see, like, I don't know, their lives are a lot more simple than ours, but it was just a really peaceful place. And it's a blessing to be able to share Jesus with those people and to see how God is working in those villages. This is a little girl that we prayed for. She, I believe, is one of the students, but she has a heart problem.
Oh,
And so
that's right.
it's,
I remember now.
yeah, it's difficult when you're way out in the villages like that to be able to get proper
Yeah.
treatment. I don't know very much about the medical system in Bangladesh, but it's something that they're really concerned about. And so we got the opportunity to pray for her, but we also invite anyone watching to pray for her as well, because we know that God loves that little girl, and
He can heal her.
yeah.
So we did the prayer walk, and you visited also some wells while you were on the prayer walk, which was
Yeah.
neat for us to be able to see some of the churches and some of the places where we'd been able to help with the wells.
Yeah, that was a blessing.
And then you got to go Christmas caroling
Yeah.
with them.
So since we were there in December, it was over the holidays. And for a lot of people, it was probably their first time ever celebrating Christmas. And this is a Hindu village. This is not something that they normally do. But our project coordinators there really saw this as an opportunity to reach out to people in the
Okay.
village and to really share about Jesus and why he came. So one of the activities that we did on Christmas Eve was we went out and we sang Christmas hymns in Bangla for the villagers. There was at least 15 houses we went to, and we also prayed for them. So we've got some little clips showing the singing and the prayer, and a bunch of the kids, at least 20 of the kids from the school came as well and joined in, and it was a whole lot of fun and a really big blessing.
Okay, let's watch those now.
ধরলরে ঈশ্বরের প্রেম যিশু ডাকে নাই ধরলরে ঈশ্বরের প্রেম যিশু ডাকে নাই ধরলরে ঈশ্বরের প্রেম যিশু ডাকে নাই ধরলরে ঈশ্বরের প্রেম যিশু ডাকে নাই
So that's really a neat thing to get the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, it was. It was such a blessing. And then Christmas morning, we were able to have a program, and they invited not only the kids, but all of their families to come for a special Christmas program. And
Okay.
Sharon and I and Dr. Halder, who was our translator, all teamed up to basically share with all of them, you know, the reason for why Jesus came and his gift
Nice.
of, you know, coming and dying for us. And so that people could really see. It was just a really big blessing to be able to uplift Jesus. And there were over 200 people who came.
Wow.
And so we just hope and pray that they were blessed and that they'll remember that and that it'll have an impact on them.
Yeah. So we've seen a little bit what the school's like now. What is the future of this school?
Okay.
What are they asking for?
Yeah, so we did get to go there twice because of the way that the schedule worked out. We probably spent 5 or 6 days there total. So we saw some of the needs that the school has, and then when we came back, our project coordinator told us that he had some other families come in and ask if they could send their kids to the school as well. And there was like 45 more kids.
Wow.
that want to come to the school. And
Wow.
some of them have had a little bit of education and are needing older grades. And so they're like, okay, how do we do this?
Yeah.
I mean, 120 kids is a lot already. And we've got this one-room schoolhouse. And so, like, what do we do? And so they asked, it's like, is there any way that we can get some extra walls, expand the grade levels? Because we really want to be able to have these kids come to the school as well.
Right.
So-
right. You want to help everybody you can.
Yeah. So in order to be able to accommodate these students, the plan is to have 2 sessions of school, one for the kindergartners and 4th and 5th graders. So that's adding some grade levels.
Okay.
And then in the afternoon to have 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grades.
Okay.
And they also want to build some interior walls in the school so that there's a little bit more of a sound barrier in between the classrooms because it gets pretty noisy with a lot of kids.
Yeah, that's a small building.
It is a small building, but they're trying
be good to have the
make
grades
it work
separate.
as much as
Yeah.
they can and do as much as they can for the students. And it'll be a blessing for the students who are already there as well, because as they get older, they're going to need higher grade levels.
Right.
And
Some of them may already need higher grade levels.
yeah, it's going to be a really big blessing all the way around.
Nice.
We also saw some needs while we were visiting. And one of those, we walked outside after a program to see this long line of girls. And we were like, what is this for? And they said, oh, this is the line for the bathroom. Because they only have one bathroom
Oh,
for, you know, there's probably 50, 60, 70 girls. I don't know what the percentages are of boys to
Right.
girls, but
that's a lot.
they need more bathrooms.
Right.
And it would really be helpful to be able to have that. There's a pond on the property where they dug out dirt to fill in for the school. So to refill that and to create a couple of more bathrooms, at least one, but maybe a couple of more bathrooms for the kids to be able to use so that they don't have to deal with such a long
Yeah.
line. And
Well, if they're
also-
going between classes, that makes it hard because you might be at the end of the line and be late for the next class. And
Yeah.
so I'm sure the teachers are understanding, but still, I
Yeah.
know some schools that wouldn't be. So,
Yeah, so it would be really helpful for them to be able to have that, as well as filling in the pond would give them a much bigger playground,
Oh,
which
that'd be
is
nice.
great. And they did a really good job of like getting a slide and swings and stuff so that the kids can play when they're outside on breaks. But, you know, it would be really nice to have a nicer, bigger space for them. So
well, Hannah, thank you so much for taking the time to come and share with us. And I would like to invite you to pray for these Bible workers, pray for this school. And if you would like to help, you can contact us at Jesus for Asia, P.O. Box 1221, Collegedale, Tennessee, 37315. Call us at 423-413-7321 or visit our website at jesusforasia.org. May God richly bless you until we see you next time on Jesus for Asia Now.